Hi and welcome to the Sewing Studio. I'm Anna and in this video I am going to take you through the Brother Innov-is A150. I'm going to talk about its features and functions, show you what comes in the box, get it threaded, do some sewing, show you its capabilities, and then talk a bit about warranty and the support you get when purchasing with us here at the Sewing Studio. Now we've split all of those into chapters, so if there's one particular section you're interested in, feel free just to jump straight ahead to that. So the Brother Innov-is A150 is a computerised machine and it's of standard size, meaning that it's got 6 inches of space to the right of the needle. It comes with a generous 150 stitch options, and those are all detailed on this card, which neatly slots on the top there. And within those stitches, you'll find a mix of utility stitches, including 10 different styles of one-step buttonhole, decorative stitches, blanket stitches, satin stitches, as well as some fonts. However, they are uppercase only. And all these stitches are very simply selected on this touchpad here, and then represented on the LCD screen. You have the ability to change the length and the width of the stitch, and the maximum stitch width on this machine is 7mm. Now it has some automatic features, and that includes the automatic thread cutter and an automatic needle threader. Really easy, and I'll show you that when we get to the threading section. Now it comes with a foot pedal. You don't have to use a foot pedal. There is a start-stop button, but you do have the ability to control your speed regardless of if you're on the start-stop button or using the foot pedal. You've also got needle up, needle down, and you can set that so that the needle stays in your work when you stop sewing, or it comes up, whichever you prefer. You've got a locking stitch and your reverse. Up here is where you would adjust your thread tension. It's drop-in bobbin system, so you just drop it in and it's very easy to thread, and you can see when it's running out. Also has the quick set feature, so there's no need to draw up the bobbin thread. The presser foot has the lever here, and that has an extra lift for any bulky items. And you can drop the feed dogs for any free motion work. There's also a free arm, so if we pop that off, you've got your free arm there. And then there's storage in the front of the machine for all the different feet and accessories that come with the machine. Now the feet that come with it are the standard one that's already on the machine, zipper foot, overcasting, blind hem, monogramming, one for sewing on buttons, one-step buttonhole foot, and a range of accessories with a handy storage pouch. You also have your foot control, power lead, and an instruction manual. And lastly, it does come with a hard cover. Now this machine weighs about 6.6 kilos, so nice and lightweight to transport around, and this will help keep it safe and also when you're storing it away. Now if you're wondering what happens to this when the cover's on, that just sits very neatly at the back. Next, I'm going to show you how to thread the machine and show you its capabilities. Threading is very straightforward and similar to most sewing machines, and everything is numbered for you, so it's really quite hard to get it wrong. So just pop your spool on and then a spool cap, and then you're going to go number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number 6 is the last guide just above the needle. And then for the needle threader, you just go up in there and under number 7. And there is a slight click there that you might not be able to hear. And then watch this. You come down with the lever and your needle's threaded. It is like magic. For the bobbin, you want the tail of thread to be to the left. Pop the cover off. Drop that in. And then there's a little arrow that's telling you to go under there. So in and around the quick set, and as I say, there's no need to draw up the bobbin thread, but you can if you want to. So when you first switch the machine on, it will default to a standard straight stitch. I've just got a piece of cotton here, just in 2 layers. So let me show you how you can control the speed. So let's drop that down. So at the moment I'm on the slowest speed setting. And to reverse, you just keep your finger on it and then come forward again. And as you can see, slow is really quite slow and very manageable. Midway, and then up to high, which is really quite fast. And as I say, that's 850 stitches per minute. And there you have your straight stitch. That's the top, and then that's the bottom. The stitches are separated out into individual folders, and then you also have direct press to the most commonly used stitches here. So I'm going to switch to a zigzag, so I can just very simply press number 5 and I'm on a zigzag. And because it's a computerized machine, it's already defaulted the width and the length to what it deems to be a standard zigzag stitch, but of course you can change those if you want to by going up and down on the arrows there. So with the zigzag stitch, I'm going to show you the locking stitch function. So sometimes when you're reversing to secure the stitch on a zigzag, it can look a bit messy at either end, whereas when you use the locking stitch button, it just sews a few stitches on the spot. And then you can carry on sewing. And then you press it again at the end to do a few stitches before it stops sewing. And you can see how it's nice and neat at both ends, rather than having the bulk of the reverse, and that's secured at either end, and that's the underneath. So let's take a look at a decorative stitch, and I can also show you then a second feature of the locking stitch button. So I'll go to the decorative folder, and let's go for some bees. So I'm going to start sewing. And you'll notice that I pressed the button and the machine carried on sewing before it stops. And that's because that button is also a pattern end. So the machine will carry on sewing. I forgot to cut my threads off. The machine will carry on sewing until it gets to the very end of a pattern. And then that avoids you kind of getting to the end and just having half a symbol. Now those bees stitch out this way, and what you can do is mirror image it. So in the settings, go to the page with mirror image, you go down to there and put that on. Okay, you may now notice that the bees are upside down on the screen, and when I stitch these out, they'll be in the opposite direction. There you go, and you can see how they're facing the opposite way. Moving on to the fonts. First, I'm going to take the mirror stitch off. Okay, and then go to the font folder. I don't want the B's. However, you could, if you wanted to, you can program a sequence. You could have a B and then the word B and then another B at the end. That's far too many B's, but I know what I mean. So let's just type the word B in there, and I will show you what that stitches out like. And there you have the word B. Now each letter is secured individually, so if you want to take out these joining stitches you can, and the letters will stay firmly in place. And they are the full width, so they're 7mm in height, and as I say, only capital letters, but there are numbers and special characters and things. Before I move on to a couple of different types of fabric, let's have a look at the one-step buttonhole. As I say, there's 10 different options to choose from depending on the type of fabric you're using. I've still got the cotton, so I'm just going to do a standard buttonhole, which is, let's cancel these out a minute, hang on. Back in the utility and stitch number 61. I've popped the buttonhole foot on and brought the sensor down. So I'm just going to pop my fabric underneath and let it do its thing. And there you have your nice neat buttonhole, both top and underneath. Within the range of stitches there are of course stretch stitches, which is very handy for sewing something like this stretch jersey that I've got here. So I've popped a jersey needle on the machine, and having worked with this fabric before, I know that the triple straight stitch is the best stitch for this fabric. So there's a direct dial to it there, so I can just choose the direct and go straight to number 7, which is the triple straight stitch. Going for a bit of full speed action there. And you can see how lovely and flat that sits. There's no waviness on there at all. And you can stretch the fabric with that stitch. And the seam is nice and stretchy as well. Lastly, let's take a look and see how the machine copes on the thicker side of fabric. So I've got some denim here. So I've popped a jeans needle on the machine, and I'm going to go back to a standard straight stitch. And because this is thicker than what we've been using, I'm going to increase the stitch length just slightly. And yeah, that's no problem at all for this machine. Nice neat stitch underneath as well, and the seam is nice and tight. So let's double that over and go through 4 layers. Now you can hear it's working slightly harder, which is what you'd expect. There it is there, still sewn it with no problem at all. Top and bottom, no skip stitches, and the seam is really secure. So let's go once more and double it over again. So we're on 8 layers now, excuse me. So I'm going to pop the speed down just slightly to help it navigate and increase the stitch length just a little bit higher. Extra presser foot lift to get that in underneath. That genuinely is not a problem for this machine. Nice neat stitch again, that's the row there. No skip stitches, and it's super, super secure. So I hope that gives you an insight into the capabilities of the Brother Innov-is A150. It also comes with a 3-year warranty, and there's a card in the box that tells you all about that. And don't forget, we're here at the sewing studio. We are human beings and we are sewers ourselves, and we are here to answer any questions that you may have. So just pick up the phone, contact us via email, or pop on live chat. Delivery is fast and free, so your new machine could be with you in just a few days. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon.